and I just like sat there and stared at the smartboard. Like it was like a black screen for a good 15 minutes, and then it was just like a light bulb.
Hello and welcome to the 4th season of the Classics Admitted podcast, where we sit down with students from Townsend Harris High School to talk about the essays and strategies they use to get into their dream schools. I'm your host for this episode, Ryan, and today we are joined by
Sally.
Sally, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
My name is Sally. I'm a senior at Townsend Harris High School.
And a little bit about how you applied to Yale and what you're majoring in.
I applied through Common App. I applied through Common App for all my schools. I'm majoring in cognitive science and applied math.
So we're going to start first with the Common App essay, which is the essay that you used and you submitted the same essay to all your schools.
Yes.
And do you want to start with which prompt you chose?
Okay. I chose the first prompt, which is some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, please share your story. I was a 9-year-old scavenger. Footprints on every surface, I ransacked the forest that was my kitchen. I combed through cabinets and drawers for priceless pieces of cardboard from cereal boxes and invaluable scraps of plastic from egg cartons and takeout containers. A typical afternoon after a long day at school. Arms laden with precious junk, I sprinted to my room and arranged my stolen treasures on the floor. That day's agenda was to make a closet for my favorite doll. I scoured the web for inspiration, refusing to be discouraged by what I saw online. Perfect little closets crafted from special hardware and materials. No need for a metal clothing rod when I could cut a chopstick roughly to size, nor a balsa wood exterior, for I had cereal box cardboard and Dad's industrial strength duct tape. My closet may not have looked as polished as those online, but I was proud nonetheless to provide my treasured doll with proper storage. Dad appeared at the door. "How's it going?" he asked in Mandarin. I held up my creation proudly. He crouched down to get a closer look. Maybe some construction paper would help, he suggested. I surveyed the bare closet and nodded in agreement. We went looking for construction paper, gathering extra materials along the way. We spent the afternoon embellishing what I had thought to be the final product. We measured and cut, enveloped the cardboard closet in pinks and purples, drew intricate designs along the edges with washable markers, and affixed clothing hangers shaped from pipe cleaners. The true finished product was beyond what I had imagined I could create. At the time, I didn't recognize how substantial moments like that would be in fostering my love for creating. I was simply grateful that fun crafts entailed spending extra time with Dad, imperceptibly strengthening our bond through collaboration and creative connection. However, as Dad grew busier with work, he stopped helping me with my little projects. Alone, I branched off from cardboard furniture to pursue other artistic enterprises, from leading Key Club visual arts meetings to designing and sewing costumes for school musicals. Friendships grew through joint efforts on Key Club posters and conversations with fellow cast members from whom I took costume measurements. But through it all, I found my forte in jewelry making. It serves my childhood penchant for hands-on activities and exercises my creativity through configuring original designs using the same toolbox of beads, wire, elastic, and silver chain. Crouched over my desk with pliers in hand, I mold 22-gauge wire into finger-sized circles, loop jump rings through metal chains, and thread clear elastic through colorful crystal beads and plastic pearls. All the while, my father shapes and cuts electrical wires to install decorative light fixtures in our home and loops jump rings through the broken strap of my mother's purse. We share the same hands but use them differently. Still, I feel most connected to him in all creative pursuits. Although I've experienced how jewelry making brings me closer to my father, I never could have imagined how many others it would connect me to also. I didn't know that embroidery thread and alphabet beads could translate into joy on the faces of friends after being gifted a personalized bracelet, or that a combination of soft metal and charms could spark conversations with strangers. "I love your necklace. Where is it from?" This phenomenon is not so unlike how construction paper and cardboard produce moments with a busy parent. As wire connects a home to electricity, or one bead to another, it connects me to these valuable sources of light in my life. Hence, the fusion of simple materials can yield more than a physical output, forging something uniquely intangible too. I am a 17-year-old creator, but now I've realized this truth. I create beyond the sake of creation. I create for the possibility of connection.
Wow, that was a really great essay, Sally.
Thank you. You sound very
It was very good.
Thank you.
And very well written too. So
Thank you.
I want to start a little bit about your process with how, from picking a topic to writing it, sort of what did you go through?
Well, I wrote this essay in AP Lit last year as a junior because our end of the year assignment was to start our college essays. And at first, I really didn't know what I would write about. I feel like that's for most people, though. And I picked the first prompt because it was, like, the most general, I felt. So, yeah, and my teachers advised us to start off with a characteristic we wanted to display through our essay. And the trait I really wanted to show through my essay was my resourcefulness and creativity, because I felt like a lot of my application was very artsy, and like because I do like theater and a lot of arts related activities. So yeah, I just wanted to like strengthen that with through my essay. And yeah, and for the story, I really didn't know until I was literally just like sitting in AP Lit and everybody was writing their essay, and I just like sat there and stared at the smartboard. Like it was like a black screen for a good 15 minutes, and then it was just like a light bulb. Like it was a light bulb moment. It was kind of crazy, but yeah. And I was just thinking about like how when I was little, I did a lot of arts and crafts, and I made a lot of like doll houses and just like furniture for my dolls with like cardboard. And yeah, and like my dad would help me because I was like 7. So yeah, and I was an iPad kid, so I had I had access to the internet at a very early age, and YouTube was very much like my teacher for everything. And yeah, I learned how to make stuff on there. So yeah, and then I just started writing this essay, and yeah.
So you started very early, I would say, because I know everyone has to go through it in AP Lit and Lang, but
Yeah.
I feel like most people don't actually end up using that essay.
Yeah.
So what was the revision process like over the summer and in the fall? Were you still working on it, or was it already out of the way?
So I thought I had finished it by the end of junior year. I was like, this is so good. Like, before senior year, I'm already done. Before the summer, I'm done. So I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm not going to touch it for the summer. I just, like, left it. And then when senior year rolled around and everybody was talking about their essays and, like, reading their essays, I was like, oh, I feel like I should, like, you know, revise it, make it better. So, yeah, I asked my friends to read it. I have a lot of friends who are already in college, so that was really helpful. They read my essay and helped me like fix it, but a lot of it was just like grammar and like maybe like a little formatting, like moving things around, but the concept itself didn't really change much. Like originally, most of the essay was like my childhood, like that childhood anecdote, but I was advised to like talk more about the present and like how I am today. So I took that advice, and yeah, now my essay is more balanced. So
that was something that I noticed. Like a lot of the beginning part, especially, was about your childhood. So I know focusing on your childhood too much is not good, but with the way you did it, it was balanced. But do you still think it was a risk?
I didn't, because I have a not family friend. Like I have a best friend whose sister got into Princeton, and she read her essay on like her YouTube, and it was like it was entirely a childhood anecdote. And I was like, okay, so like if I do half, like it can't be a risk, because she like, you know, obviously got where I wanted to be. So yeah, I was like, okay, this is good. And also I felt like it added more depth to my character, like their understanding where it came from, like my background, kind of. It's not just like where I am now, but like how I got to where I am. So
yeah, that was also something I did similar in my essay.
Yeah.
I started with like a childhood anecdote and then moved into the present.
Yeah, I feel like my essay was a pretty generic structure, but
But when you're such an amazing person,
thanks.
it's gonna be great. Before we continue, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Queller Prep. Queller Prep is a top-tier educational program that helps students excel in middle school, high school, and beyond, with small, personalized classes both in person and online. Their college application help program can help you with everything from choosing a major to revising your personal statement and preparing for interviews. For more information and their full test prep offerings, visit quellerprep.com. And now, back to the video. Before we get into the Yale supplemental essay, I wanted to ask about what made applying to Yale different than other schools, because a lot of schools asked very similar supplemental essay prompts, but was there anything specifically for Yale about the application or about the prompts that made it stand out?
Yeah, actually, I didn't think I would get in. I was like, let me just shoot my shot, but really I didn't think I would have gotten in. So like for Yale, it was actually my least polished essay. Well, they were my least polished essays. For my other schools, like I had like people reread them so many times, but this one, it was like it was just me writing it, and then I asked Sweeney to look over it, and that was it. Like, yeah. Yeah,
I think that could be good actually, because sometimes when they get too polished, then you sort of lose your original meaning.
Yeah.
So these, I'm sure, are very genuine to you.
Yeah. Yeah. But
yeah.
For Yale, it was also very much like copy and paste, because so many, like you said, so many of them are very similar. So a lot of it was like the same as my other schools. So that's also probably why I didn't polish it as much, because it was like one of the last ones I did. So I just like took what I had that was polished and then just like slapped it into their prompt. So
When you say last one, I'm just curious, like how long before?
The deadline?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had it like maybe like 3 weeks before the deadline, but I just mean, yeah, I started early, guys.
Yeah, you're really good with your time management.
I was on top of it because I had so many frees. Take advantage of your frees. But yeah, I had a lot of time, but it was like I did like all my target and like safety schools, but like a lot of them didn't have supplements, so it was good. And then I moved into like the reaches and like IVIES and stuff. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I feel like once you have sort of your different topics that you could write about, then it's just choosing for what schools what you want to say and how you want to say it.
Yeah, I agree.
But we could get started with
Okay.
the prompts first.
I'm gonna read my Why Yale essay and the little short takes they have, which are like 200 character prompts. So yeah. Okay, so for Why Yale, they phrase it, what is it about Yale that has led you to apply, in 125 words. Lux et veritas. By Yale's motto, I anticipate uncovering truths about human nature, both through cognitive science and theater arts and performance, fields that illuminate the human experience. Yale's interdisciplinary cognitive science curriculum offers surplus opportunities to conduct research that enables me to answer individualized questions that apply cognition to my other interests, such as theater and economics. Moreover, my attraction to Yale solidified after learning about its abundant musical and theatrical opportunities, fueling my dedication to the arts. I aspire to play an active role in its robust dramatic association and Yale's jazz-based a cappella group, Red Hot and Blue. Combining Yale's and commitment with its strong liberal arts foundations promises the reconciliation of my artistic passions with my fascination for the human mind.
That was very good.
Thank you.
You could go first.
I just have some piece of advice. You don't have to be serious like me. When I went to the Yale Admitted Students Day, the speaker was talking about the YL essays he's read, and like the ones that stood out to him were the ones that were funny. So if you're a funny person and you think you're funny, you should make it funny because then they'll like you. Somebody talked about New Haven pizza. So, well, you can't do that anymore because now you know it's not original anymore, but something like that, you know.
With the Yale Why Us essay being only 125 words, how did you choose what to include and what to leave out?
I decided to include aspects that I share with the school. So, like, Yale is known for being very, like, theatrical and musical. So that was, like, a plus because I was already that. And I don't know why I didn't see it before, but, like, that's kind of what made Yale the perfect school for me, I think. But yeah, I like talked about theater because, you know, that's like such a big part of my life and my high school experience. And like I threw in like little details that related to other parts of my application, like the fact that I did jazz band, so, you know, I included, and the fact that I was the president of our a cappella group at Townsend, so I included like the jazz-based a cappella group. So like it kind of like combined stuff together, which is very convenient that they had that. And then cognitive science because like major, like I feel like that was kind of a weaker part because like obviously they know about their majors and like how it all works. But I included it because I want it to connect to theater in a way and like make it make sense because not a lot of my extracurriculars were like cognitive science psych related, so I wanted to like strengthen that part of my application. Yeah, like a lot of things I write about are just things that I feel like could use an extra boost.
Like, so when looking at your other supplementals, these you were able to tie in things here that you didn't talk about before, or was there overlap, do you think?
Oh, I definitely believe in overlap. I don't know. I know a lot of people say to like be well-rounded and like talk about many different aspects. I mean, I did that, but I made sure everything like made sense together. Like everything was cohesive. A lot of my supplementals were like, theater or like music in some way, like even if it's like in passing, like later on you'll see, but like even if it's like not the focus of the essay, it'll like be thrown in somehow. And I mean, I think that made my application strong because it like made me spikier. Is that like
it shows dedication?
Yeah. Like passion, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, I don't believe the whole like separate. I don't.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I know a lot of people that try and divide their topics per supplemental.
Yeah.
But with the way you did it, it wasn't like you had so many different things that it wasn't really just repeating what you already said.
Yeah.
So that was very creative of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so a lot of these allow you to be very creative, so there's not really one right way to do this, but here we could see some great examples.
Okay. So for the first short take, it asks, what inspires you? The first Asian American alphabet on Broadway, Alyssa Fox, and then in parentheses, 2023. Firsts for Asian American women give me hope that my identity is not a disadvantage, but a chance to stretch societal limitations. So that was the first one. The second one is, if you could teach any college course, write a book, or create an original piece of art of any kind, what would it be? Love language, Myers-Briggs type, Harry Potter house. How online quizzes bring us together by S. Zheng explores the power of digital media in the facilitation of social connection. Which I felt like was like cognitive science vibe. So anyway.
I can confirm. It does sound cognitive science vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the third one?
Third one is, other than a family member, who is someone who has had a significant influence on you, and what has been the impact of their influence? Here, try this. My 7th grade English teacher handed me a copy of Little Women. The course of my literary interests forever changed. Classic literature became and remains a bookshelf majority. For the fourth one, it asks, what is something about you that is not included anywhere else in your application? My YouTube watch history ranges from videos and video essays covering film theory, book reviews, and psychological phenomena to song covers, late night shows, and historical fashion analysis. That's it.
Those are all very deep.
Thank you.
So good job with that.
Thank you. I just wanted to pile everything, overwhelm them with all my interests, just so they know.
Do you have any advice for people that are applying to Yale and going through those short take prompts?
Have fun with them. They're really not that serious. They're not going to be the tiebreaker, but they might leave a better impression, because if you're funny or if it stands out in some way, then they'll definitely remember you and it'll be in your favor. So
have fun, guys.
Have fun. College is so fun. College application process. So fun.
Thank you for sharing your work with us, Sally. Do you have any final advice for juniors or seniors that are applying to Yale or in the college application process in general? Because I know you got into many, many, many great schools.
Start early. Don't procrastinate. Yeah, that's it. Start early. Don't procrastinate. Have fun. Use your time wisely. Copy and paste. Grammar check.
And for the younger people, freshmen, juniors, or just anyone that's looking into Yale very early and they're watching this video, what sort of advice do you have to them about maybe high school in general?
Just do what you love and everything will work out. Don't think about college. I didn't think about college the entirety of my freshman, sophomore, junior year. Actually, yeah, I didn't. So I didn't think about college until I needed to. So be early, but not too early.
And that wraps up for this episode of the Classics Admitted podcast. You could subscribe to us on YouTube at The Classic TV for more helpful episodes and check out our past 3 seasons. We have another Yale episode if you want to know even more about Yale. And you can follow us on Instagram at THHSClassic and our website, thhhsclassic.com. Sally, do you have any final words? And thank you again for coming.
Thank you for having me. I do not have final words. Those are my final
And just
words.
as a final note to our listeners, Sally was Ariel in the school play, in case you're wondering.
I was.
And you can watch her
Don't.
performance on the Classic TV. Goodbye.
Yeah, you know this.
Your future classmates are gonna watch this.
So be early, but not too early.
Oh, wait.
Don't stress.
That's good too. Don't stress.
Also, I wouldn't recommend having a dream school because I didn't have a dream school, and it worked out for me.
And speaking of dream schools, why did you choose Yale in that?
They have good food, and they're close by, and they have a pretty campus, and they have an underground tunnelway system.
And Connecticut.
Yeah, I love New Haven. It's my favorite place.